time of day?
Yeah.
Right. I think we're set up, ready to start.
Yeah.
So welcome everybody to this week's live, all about trekking in Nepal. And today we thought we would have a little bit of a chat about the idea, am I too old to do Everest Base Camp? Now, the reason that we chose this is that often, like in the various Facebook groups that we belong to, we see people who are, maybe in their 50s posting about, oh, I really would have wanted to do this, but now I think I'm too old. And then you have lots of people jumping in who've done Everest Base Camp in their 50s, in their 60s, and in their 70s. For myself, my first experience in Nepal was in 2015 when I did trek Everest Base Camp. And I was well into my 50s when I did that. And then, it was one of the most exhilarating things I'd ever done. And it was one of the hardest things I'd ever done, not only physically, but mentally as well. But I learned a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about inner strength. And then I came back 2 years later and I did Annapurna circuit. And again, once I got there, I was like, oh my God, did I really want to do this? I remember how hard some of this stuff is. But, for me now, and that part of the reason why Dinesh and I are in partnership is that I want to be able to share those sort of experiences with as many people as possible and encourage people to really embrace the idea of come to Nepal, go trekking, and not only challenge yourself physically, but learn a lot more about yourself. So that's a little bit about me. And now I'm just going to ask Dinesh to introduce himself, and then we'll jump onto the topic.
Namaste, everyone. Welcome to the events. And I'm Dinesh from Nepal. And I born and brought from the eastern part of Nepal, where the located of Mount Everest. Since that, early my age, I'm working in tourism sector as a porter, then upgraded to assistant guide, then became final guide with one of the toppest companies in Nepal. Last 12 to 15 years, I've been working as a guide. And then after finally last 8 years already, we have one company, Nature Explore Trek. So we're running like last 8 years, and we have been working with so many different people from all around the world, and we already got a good feedbacks and good reputation for all companies. And I'm a professional guide where I've been trekking all over the Nepal, of course, Everest region, Annapurna region, Langdang region, Makalu, Kanchenjunga, wherever, and including Tibet, West Tibet especially. Most of the big groups where I go as pilgrims trip. And I also got a good opportunity to trek in Alps in Europe a couple of times in 2014 and 16. So yeah, that's really nice. And we are still running. And me and Michelle, we're running like another trip, and upcoming in future, more trips. So I hope these events and these topics will help for everyone. So right now, that's I want to tell you now. So Michelle, continue.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So I did jot down a few notes, and in the description of the event, I said, it is never too late to do something like Trek Everest Base Camp. So some of the ideas that we wanted to explore today is the fact that, let's look at experience over youth. Mm-hmm. So when you think about it, and I'm just going to use the term older trekkers, they have more life experience, and possibly they're more patient, more resilient. And when they're faced with a challenging situation, they can actually be a little bit calmer. So what would be your comments about that, Dinesh? Do you feel that when you have an older group that like they're more accepting and more, whatever happens? Has that been your experience?
No, the age is only numbers.
Yeah.
So if you have your own bucket list, then you're like in from bottom up from here, from your heart that you want to do hikes and adventure, so always available and is always welcomed.
Yeah.
So when you are fit and physically and mentally fit, both, so you can do it. It is no problem.
And I think you just hit on a nail then about physically fit, because there's no reason that we, as we get into our 50s and our 60s and our 70s and into our 80s and beyond, there's no reason why you can't. Well, there are some people medically who can't, but keeping fit at any age, you know, like it is possible for most people, and that if you maintain this active lifestyle and, you know, you do the right training so that your body's ready, there's really no reason that, you know, you compared to say a 20 or 30-year-old are going to struggle or have any more. Now I'll put a caveat on that. Like when I've trekked, what I discovered is that my comfortable spot was to be at the back with the guide when I was doing Everest Base Camp. And in my group, there were 6 of us in my group, and there was 3 guys who were in their late 20s and all really, really fit, and a lovely couple from South Africa in their 30s. So I just kind of assumed that, you know, my preference for being at the back was based on the fact that they were younger and fitter and faster than me.
Yeah.
And then when I did Annapurna circuit, I was actually the second youngest. We had 3 people over 70, me and somebody in their 40s, but still I felt more comfortable being at the back. So it's really interesting how the mental stuff plays out as well as the physical stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. And I guess one of the really big reasons why I would encourage people to never think you're too old to do this is the absolute sense of achievement when you get to base camp.
Yes.
Can you describe a couple of, like, when you've taken groups to base camp, like when you actually get to base camp, what do they do? Are they celebrating? Are they carrying on? Are they like,
Yes, of course. So most of people have dreamed to be in Everest Base Camp because it is the oldest big guy in the mountain.
Yeah.
Definitely everyone have dream to be there. And when they get there, absolutely it's exciting and really emotional.
Yeah.
And celebrating and making the beautiful picture for memories. And
yeah.
of course, from the Everest Base Camp, we don't have a good actually view for the Mount Everest, but it is the same.
I'm surprised about that. You get to Everest Base Camp and you can't actually see Everest.
Yeah. When you get like 5,364 meter high, there is a symbol, no, not actual symbol, there is a symbol of in writing, this is Everest Base Camp. Actually, they said like 2 base camp. One is new and one is old. The old is a little further behind and one is new one is a little earlier because of the glaciers when they're melting and then the rocky trail is moved. But still there is still the same spot where the people stop the trip. So they, of course, celebrating and dancing, making like fun, and all the team being together and make a good photos, a group picture.
Yeah.
This happened because of after 8 days of going up in this altitude, doing like slowly and making like journey to get there. Everyone definitely enjoy and celebrate.
Yeah. I remember, jumping around with my arms in the air, but the 3 young guys on my trip, they're from Australia, and they'd carried cans of beer all the way so that we could open a beer when we were at Everest Base Camp. I didn't like, we all took photos looking like we were drinking, but I didn't drink anything. I think I might have had a sip, but yeah, that was the extent of, let's do something to mark the occasion. Let's do something really different. So what else are the other things? I'm just looking at the list of things that I put together.
Yeah.
And one of the things I've got here is that older trekkers are often better prepared in that they plan more, there's more preparation, and they have like good boots and the right equipment. Would that be your experience?
Yes, because of at least the people who are like you don't want to take a little longer, more time and get to there, try to get there. So of course, maybe add at least a couple of days extra and then go slowly. So you might the general itinerary might not fit for the older people. So we must have to make at least a couple of days extra because of the speed cannot be matched like with a general itinerary. So if we have at least in 6 months, we have a good training, like a short hiking and slowly running, making like training for the breathing and do simple yoga and different activities. So it also helps. And also when we make like a different itinerary, like when we design different itinerary, like let's say Everest Base Camp is like at 14 days, we can make like 16 days because for comfortable.
Yeah.
So instead of walking in same day 6 hours, 7 hours, some days, especially in the high altitude place, we can break in 2 days. Okay. That means they will feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
And also, so when we go slowly and in our own speed, so definitely it is possible, and we definitely can walk. So the age and altitude or the landscape never recognize your people age or how high you are, how strong you are. It never recognize. It's just our self-confidence and it's our self standby. So never mind. So I have an experience 79 years old Australian my clients did in 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah, he made it Everest Base Camp.
Awesome.
So that I explain you. I make a different itinerary, of course, for him. Not the same itinerary for 12 days, 13 days, because he needed at least 2 extra days for make and cover his speed. So then after, without any problem, he's very strong also, definitely. Without any problem, he complete Everest Base Camp with our expert guides.
Okay.
Of our expert guide, and they successfully came back to Kathmandu with like the old record.
That's so when that happens, like say somebody gets in touch with you and says, I'm interested in doing Everest Base Camp, like you have your standard tours, but if they say to you, I'm 70 and I think I'm going to be slow, then you would talk with them and organize, maybe extend it out for a couple of days, and then if other people who want to do the same thing, they can all go on the same tour.
Yes. Okay. Definitely, like when we get information from our clients or for those people who want to go to Everest Base Camp, like inquiry, so we ask about their timeline, how long they are coming and what type of trip they want to do. And for example, if someone asks, like the older people ask to want to do the Everest Base Camp, anyhow, need to manage the timing, and we suggest at least 16 days instead of 13, 14 days. So normally, to get to Everest Base Camp, it takes 8 days, a normal general itinerary in our package. But we suggest for them at least 9 days.
Okay.
9 days.
Yeah.
Instead of making one acclimatization day, we make 2-3 acclimatization day for them. So because for the comfortable. Yeah. So when we have this kind of design itinerary, so it will be no problem. So they can do it, and as their interest and as their timetable, we are always customized. We're always flexible, and we're very happy to make the itinerary according to their interest.
Sounds like next time I do it, I might have to take the extended one.
No, I don't think so. You need it still. So you can do it in normal.
And I think also one of the, I'm not saying that younger trekkers don't have these attributes, but it seems that for the older that you get, the more that you actually really appreciate the beauty of your surroundings and how amazing like the views are and different things like that, and that you actually have more of an appreciation of just being able to be there. And maybe that's why older trekkers go more slowly, because like me, I had to take lots of photos.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not discrimination about speed or like, the older and younger. Yeah. So the only problem, because of course when our numbers is rising up and off, definitely we will be not same speed and not like same energy, right? And also we have to look after them very well. We don't know what time it will be happen. For example, it's more risky is altitude, even any trekking, including Everest. So for example, in dinner time at evening, everyone is fine and happy, talk and finish the day and go to the retire to the bed. But next morning, we don't know what will happen. In the midnight can be a problem. So that reason, we have to be very careful and take care of our older clients.
Yes.
And we have to be close. We have to be connected and stay together, stay close to them, and then make connected anytime, right?
Yeah.
So that's the reason. So with also, let's say the day is 6 hours trek, and if older our clients say like where we are enough for today, can we stay today here? So of course we have to be flexible for that, and then we have to say welcome to stay here. So because when we have like this kind of flexible itinerary and settle the mind and in our individuals guides or minded guides, so it will be always easier for complete the trip for older people.
Yeah. And I also think, like, from my coaching experience, that when you have somebody in a situation where they are feeling like, oh, have I bitten off more than I can chew? Am I going to be able to finish this? That it's really important to structure and frame the day with, you start off perhaps with a meditation, but thinking about your intentions for the day and what you want to achieve for the day. And then at the end of the day, like finding something that you did well or something good that happened during the day, so that you finish the day like feeling positive and ready for the next day. So yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, because we have to always be mentally and physically strong, and always we have to stay communicated with the guide and stuff. So it helps a lot. Yeah.
One of the other things that I thought I would raise too is that, and this is a question we see a lot, is altitude sickness, and whether when you're an older trekker. Now, I think altitude sickness doesn't discriminate. It's either going to happen to you or it's not going to happen to you, whether you're 20 or 50 or 80. Is that right?
I'm agreed with you, yes.
Yeah. So to kind of think, oh, because I'm older, I'm more likely to suffer from the altitude, it's not really correct.
Yeah, it's not really correct. So
good. Okay, let's put everyone's mind at rest then.
Yeah.
No, and I think like for me personally, and I agree with you, age is just a number, and you should never use that number as a reason for not pursuing your dreams. And, one of the things I wrote down on my list here is why you shouldn't let age deter you is the simple fact that life is short, and you need to make the most of it. And if trekking to Everest Base Camp is on your bucket list, then do it. Do not regret not doing it.
Yes. No regret in your life. Please go do it. Let's do it.
Yeah. That sounds suspiciously like a phrase from a sporting company. Do it. Just do it. Okay. I haven't seen any questions come through in the comments, so we might wrap it up there. And again, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
And if you are watching the replay, please comment replay, put any questions you might have, because I will monitor the post and come back and answer any questions. And we will be back the same time next week, which is 1:15 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Nepali time. And we haven't even worked out our topic for next week. So I will put the event out shortly. So keep an eye out and please make sure you join us again next week.
Yeah. Welcome next week, everyone. Yeah.
All right. So let me stop sharing and stop recording.